So he wrote that letter, if you can call it that, and I ended up leaving the school and he contacted me and asked me on our first date. I said yes. That first date was intended to be an early dinner, but of course it turned into going back to his place, hanging out with friends, drinking, listening to music, watching TV, and then I fell asleep on his floor. And I woke up the next morning with him asleep on the floor next to me and his arms wrapped around me. And so our first date ended up being 16 hours long. And after that point, we were inseparable, constantly on the phone, talking online, seeing each other in person. And from the outside, it probably looked like just any other story of like teenage puppy love. But even at that point, there was already an undercurrent and the stage had already been set for breaking implied and stated boundaries of like when I was supposed to be home and what sort of physical contact is appropriate on a very first date. And there was already an unhealthy level of attachment where he would say things like, we always have to be together. If you ever left me, I would die. And he always made it a point to be physically touching me in some way. You know, putting his hand on my leg, holding my hand, wrapping his arms around me, all of that. And it was almost as if he felt like if he wasn't physically touching me, I might run away at any second. And I didn't know it at the time, but this was the earliest signs of what was to come. And again, abusive relationships almost never start off abusive, and we were in this happy couple honeymoon phase for several months before the first abuse really started.